Hello, everyone. I hope everyone who has the right went out and voted yesterday. Today, we're going to talk more about waivers. I'm sure those who need to have a waiver filed are wondering how long does it take? I plan to give some answers today. Hi, I'm Raluca Hanea, and I provide immigration, business, and estate planning legal services to my clients. I'm here again with my marketing and office manager, Nina Clear. And don't forget your likes and shares help more people to see my video. So thank you so much for that. Yesterday, I talked about what a waiver is. So please check out my video with that information.
Okay, so today we want to discuss waiver processing and how long it might take. Can you give me an exact time?
That would be great if I could, but it is impossible. Every case is different and so many factors impact the time. You have to look at the difficulty of your case as well as where you filed. I can tell you what USCIS has provided. There are many different types of waivers. There is a provisional waiver you apply for regarding unlawful presence, and that is taking from 6 to 8 months to process. So they are handling right now applications from March 2018.
Okay, and just to remind everybody, this is based on information from today,
That's
November 7th, 2018. So this might change in the future if you're watching this video. Okay, so does the provisional waiver that you mentioned give you any type of lawful status?
No. The only thing the provisional waiver does is allow you to stay in the U.S. before traveling abroad for consular processing. It does not provide you with a lawful status, employment authorization, protection for deportation, or the automatic approval of a green card. So once you are given a provisional waiver, you must still travel to the consulate in your country of origin and have an interview.
So it sounds like there are more steps after you file for the provisional waiver.
Yes. Then you follow the same steps as you do when applying for other waivers.
Okay. And any other types of waivers that you can give us estimates on for their processing time?
Others I have handled, like an application to apply for readmission after deportation, are taking from 21 to 28 months. And right now they are processing those received from August 2016. The waiver of grounds for inadmissibility is taking 12 months and a half to 16 months processing time.
Okay. And just to remind people as well, you have filed for waivers for people in the country and outside the country, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Now let's talk a little bit about the waiver process. So someone comes to you and tells you they want to file for a green card or whatever, or tells you I need to file for a waiver. Then what happens?
First, I need to meet with them to find out about their individual circumstances and if they would qualify for a waiver.
So have you ever had clients who you told you couldn't help?
Yes. I am honest from the outset with my clients about their possible outcome. I have had many wins when other attorneys told me I would not win for my clients, but I have.
Okay, so after you meet with them, then what happens?
Our office will fill out the forms and gather the necessary information from our clients. They need to submit payment for the fees required by USCIS and for our office and also for the Department of State. Once we have the forms and all the documents gathered and completed, we send them with a letter. I write that letter outlining the legal basis and the authority for granting my client's request, and I send that via overnight express.
Okay. Tell us why you write a letter to include with the packet.
That letter is the most important document in the whole file, I can say, because waiver decisions are done on a discretionary basis. So that means that each immigration official reviewing the file makes a decision based on their own understanding of the case and on their own wish. I do my best to show the officers why it would be a hardship for my client and their family to not be approved. I do that based on the law and the existing case law.
Okay. So you send them by UPS overnight. Why do you do that?
Well, unfortunately, I have had several instances where my client's paperwork has been lost by USCIS. So I like having a tracking number and someone at the facility to sign for the package.
Okay. And after it's received by, USCIS, do you know what happens?
USCIS will send out a form I-797C, which basically says we have received your package and we will process it.
And in that I-797C, do they tell you what the processing time you can expect?
No, they do not.
But,
Roxy.
But you can check online, right, to see where it is, or no?
You can after you have a case number.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just have to wait, and once you have received a notification
mm-hmm.
That the waiver is approved, then you will receive also an email and notification from the Department of State that's going to notify you of an appointment.
Okay, so after you get the notice, then you just have to wait. It doesn't really say online where they are in the decision.
No. Like any other case, you can go online and check the status of your case,
mm-hmm.
but it's just going to tell you what was the last action that they took in the case. It's not going to tell you how long it takes for them to process it.
Okay, but then they approve it, and then you'll get a notification about an interview with the Department of State. So is there an interview for all waiver applications?
No, you only have an interview for those that are approved.
Okay, and where would that interview take place?
The interview is going to take place either overseas at the consulate or in the U.S. It depends on the type of the waiver that you apply for.
Okay. And if you're waiting for a waiver and you live in another country, but you're waiting for that to be processed, can you visit the United States during that time?
If you are an immediate relative who is already in the United States, you may be able to stay here, but otherwise no, you could not. Keep in mind that the person who is living here while awaiting for a provisional waiver should not leave the U.S. either, or they may not be allowed back in.
Okay. Is there any circumstance where you should not apply for a waiver?
As I said, each case is individual. Clients who have multiple grounds of inadmissibility cannot apply for a provisional waiver. So I would recommend to those people that they leave the country before applying. The reason being is you don't want enforcement proceedings to be started against you that might cause you to be deported. If you are deported, you may not be able to apply for a green card for 10 years or permanently.
Okay, so if you've been told your waiver was approved, do you know how long it's going to take before the interview?
It can take somewhere between 2 to 6 months.
But is USCIS the one who approves the waiver?
Yes,
and
USCIS.
Okay, and then the Department of State is who schedules the appointment. So
once they approve the waiver, they're going to send that information to the Department of State,
mm-hmm.
so they can send it to that consulate in the country where the person is going to have the interview.
Okay. And then are you immediately approved after the interview?
Usually, so there's still some paperwork that needs to be processed and received at the consulate. But usually, yes, you are told at the time of the interview if you are approved.
Great.
Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow we'll talk about the most common type of waiver, and on Friday we'll go through a case study. Thanks again for watching and for your likes, and have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.